Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching the Locker Gnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. And today I wanted to talk about my old, new iPad Pro, the current gen iPad Pro with 5G, versus my new, old, new Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus, which I just got. So I've been using both and have to make a decision because I don't really surround myself by a lot of gadgets. I know a lot of people who are gadget lovers do. I only need one, and I just kind of felt like I was done with iOS, specifically iPad OS. Despite all the benefits of the iPad, I thought I would give the Galaxy Tab a go. So this is going to be kind of a comparison of experiences that I had with either one of them. I should note, both are very capable devices. Okay, this is not about one being horrible. It's about, finding something that works for me. Both are extremely capable devices, but there is a massive world of difference between the Android experience on Samsung's tablets and the iOS experience on Apple's tablets, because iPad OS is iOS. There is some jank on the Samsung tablet. Doesn't surprise me. It's got relatively decent hardware powering it, but it's still running Android, and Android definitely has jank. Samsung has done a lot to mitigate it. They need to do more, and that may be, throwing in, beefier specs to make things smoother, or just wait for software optimization to come down the pike. It's largely fluid, though. So I'm used to Android jank. I'm used to iOS jank. I definitely appreciate, or I shouldn't say appreciate, that's the wrong word. I can tolerate Android jank more than I can tolerate iOS jank. It's just, there are worlds of difference, but they're both janky. Largely fluid. So the fluidity on both devices was to my liking. Of course, both sporting screens capable of 120 FPS. Samsung, I believe, does edge things out with a better software experience from a tablet. Like, that's something that I have had an issue with on the iPad for years. It feels like iPhone OS blown up. That's what it is. In fact, I'll go as far as to say that Android apps on the Samsung Galaxy Tab work and run better than iPhone apps do on an iPad. It's not about the speed of the hardware in that sense. It's about how well the platform accommodates apps that weren't necessarily built for a screen size. So if the last time you used an Android tablet was eons ago, you owe it to yourself to look at this one, because I was able to make things work. I've always recommended Good Lock for Samsung tablets. Good Lock works on this, and it's definitely something that I'm still discovering how I can become a lot more productive on a Samsung tablet versus kind of being tapped out on productivity on an iPad Pro. I feel multitasking runs better on the Samsung tablet than it does the iPad tablet, because software experience. It's what Samsung does with their software. Split screen apps work very well. iOS kind of does split screen on the iPad, but in a different way. I just find that I like the way that Samsung handles it a little more than the way that I've liked or appreciated how Apple has handled it. I keep using that word, appreciate. Well, I've appreciated the experience of having both tablets, but there can be only one for me, because I don't want to leave them all laying around if I'm not using it. Dex mode is the thing that really sets apart this tablet, Dex mode, where you can basically flip to a desktop mode on the tablet itself if you're not mirroring it on a Mac or a PC, or running it really on the Mac or PC in a window, running it directly. There's also wireless display capabilities. Of course, Apple has AirPlay as well, and you could also tether it directly. I don't necessarily look into those types of connectivity issues in terms of making a choice, but Dex just shows how far Android can go with a tablet experience that iOS or iPad still can't. And I wish that iPad had something like a Dex mode to allow for different usability depending on what I happen to be doing at the time. I've run Dex mode when not having the keyboard attached and while having the keyboard attached. I will say this. The default, or the go-to manufacturer accessory, the keyboard accessory, the smart keyboard cover, whatever they're calling it these days on Apple, definitely edges out Samsung's keyboard thing. The Samsung keyboard accessory not that great. Apple's keyboard accessory, and we're talking the first party accessories, is pretty decent. That said, iOS 15, I kept running into issues with Safari where the trackpad kept just jumping everywhere and did not work very well. That could be fixed in a software update, but I got to use this. I got to use this device now. I can't wait for a software update. So the trackpad and the keyboard, etc., work on the Samsung tablet, work well, or well enough on the Samsung tablet that I think I appreciate the way that Samsung implemented the feature, though I appreciate the build quality of Apple's keyboard accessory. I feel the build quality of the tablets roughly the same. The weight-wise, they feel the same. You know, holding them in each of my hands here. Samsung does not have 5G in the device that comes with 8 gigs of RAM? 12 gigs of RAM? No, 8. Like, the 128 gig Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus only comes with 6 gigs. This one comes with 8 gigs, because it's a 256 model. But it does not come with 5G. And so the only way to get it 5G is to underspec the device. I'm like, no, this thing needs more RAM. That is a huge minus for me, because one of the use cases for the iPad for me was 5G connectivity, because I use it on the go. So I do miss that, but I tether. And tethering makes it just as fast as it would if it had native 5G. Plus, that saves me like $20 a month. Face ID versus fingerprint. Personally, I prefer fingerprint. It's touch and go sometimes with Samsung sensors, but you know what? Face ID is sometimes touch and go too. I've had just as many missed scans on both devices, so I'd say that's a wash. It comes down to preference, but if I had a choice, I would choose fingerprint over face just about any day of the week on any device. Really good speakers, I feel, on both. Surprisingly good. But I feel the iPad had a richer sound, especially for like conferencing. Like the audio tends to be a bit like for like talking, tends to be a bit tinny, and there was no real way even when I dug deeper to adjust it, specifically like system wide. It only seems to apply to music, or at least that's what I was able to find. Maybe I tripped the wrong equalizer here, but I have to turn down the volume when talking to people on this thing. The screen is bright. The screens on both of these are very bright. In fact, sometimes I find myself having to dim this screen on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus because it's so bright. Big benefit to me is both are USB-C. Apple needs to go that direction. Samsung's already there. The cameras on the Samsung tablet are a wash. I don't use the cameras on tablets that much, but I do use them, specifically when I'm, live streaming like I'm doing right now on Twitch, recording this while I'm doing the broadcast. You can join me and the rest of the community every night, 6 p.m. Pacific, on Twitch. So I use the cameras, and for that use case, they're ample. Could they be better? Sure. The selfie cam, could it be better? Absolutely. But for a tablet, it works just fine. For web conferencing, works just fine. The bottom line between the two, because I feel like I have to choose, I'm not getting rid of this iPad Pro. Despite it being latest gen, not exactly spec to the gills, but it's relatively brand new. And I hadn't considered the Samsung tablet when I got this. Otherwise, I may not have gotten this in the first place. I would have probably flipped to the Samsung earlier this year, even though now it's a year old. Can't wait for the next Samsung tablet. This iPad Pro is now being used by Jedi. Our daughter's been loving it. She gets everything that she needs to from it. I can't stand, the parental controls or screen time on iOS. They're horrible compared to the Android experience with parental controls. Horrible! So I can tell you that when I'm done with this one and ready to upgrade, this is probably going to be Jedi's computer, and I don't know what we'll do with this iPad. Maybe iOS will be improved by then. I'm not going to hold my breath. So this is going to stay in the family. It'll stay in close range, but someone else is going to be using it as their primary computer. This is going to be my go-to tablet for now, a go-to computer to get a lot of the work done that I need to get done, because everything I needed to do on this, I can do on this, or certainly find a way to get it done, and in some ways, I can get things done faster and better on Android than I can with iOS. And that's not because one is more intuitive than the other. It's just that I believe Samsung's packed far more productivity into their system. Plus, it comes with the S Pen. That's nice.